and I would really appreciate it if you would stop Rob Taylor from blathering on and on.
Opinions expressed by talk show hosts, callers, or guests on the Rob Taylor Report do not necessarily represent the opinions of the hosting platform, subsidiaries, sponsors, or possibly anyone else on the planet or the known universe. From the tinfoil and lead-lined broadcast bunker on the beautiful southern coast of Oregon, it's the Rob Taylor Report. So strap yourself in. Your weekly political therapy session is about to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the nearly famous Rob Taylor.
In Washington, D.C. right now, we're going to go straight out to Denesa Rains, who is in Washington, D.C. She's going to give us a little bit of a report.
How do you get it on your phone?
Denesa, how you doing?
If I start chattering, you'll understand. We're out in about 13-degree weather, standing, waiting for both the Commander-in-Chief ball and the Liberty ball. It is really cold, I can tell you. We've been standing out here since about 4:30, and it's 6 o'clock right now, and people are freezing. And
An hour and a half you've been standing around in that dress?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And the line is hardly moving at all. We're supposed to be in there starting the ball at 7, and it's really, I'm telling you, everything here has not happened how we thought it was going to happen. We stood in line yesterday for 6 hours in rain, sleet, and snow. I kind of felt like Washington at Valley Forge. and we witnessed a fight in line because people were taking cuts. People are selfish. Then we got almost there.
2 hands, 2 feet, right? 2 hands, 2 feet.
Yeah. They're trying to buy me hand warmers and feet warmers because we didn't think we'd be standing this long out here. But so I witnessed that, and then it got to the point where the pushing and the shoving, because they said first come, first serve, and people were just selfish. We'd been standing in line, and people were cutting that were perfectly dry. They just cut in front of the line, and the military and the police weren't helping. The military did a better job of it, but the police, they just sat around with their hands in their pockets.
So the ball you're going in.
Now we're moving pretty fast now to go through security. So it's cold. I would have to say earlier today we were in what do you call it? The Hilton Valley Inn, and we stayed at inside at the restaurant with the big screen TV. And I'm going to tell you, it was really good to see what we saw on the screen because we didn't have to weather the elements. Yeah. And there's a lot of people disappointed here about not being able to see things, but we are more concerned about President Trump and his safety here.
We all were, and it was probably a good thing that he moved the inauguration actually inside. I imagine, were you physically present at the Capitol when they did the inauguration?
Oh no, that was limited to about 400 people, 500 people.
Oh wow!
And they invited almost 250,000 people here, had tickets for the parade and the rallies and all that kind of stuff. Well, the rally, as soon as we got here, they called it first come, first serve.
Oh.
And we didn't even have to have a ticket. So it was kind of like a free-for-all. We were really disappointed because I'm not kidding. We were cold and wet and miserable. Thank goodness we had hand warmers, and I stopped to get some chicken wonton at one of the restaurants while we were in line. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, that's good. At least they got food there. They're not completely starved. Do they have restrooms this time?
Do they have what?
Restrooms this time.
No restrooms unless you were able to go into a restaurant and pay for the food.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah,
tough.
it's. I would say this is more brutal than January 6th when they didn't have the bathrooms, though, just
Oh,
because
wow.
the weather is just brutal.
And it's kind of deceptive because it looked really sunny there today, but yet everyone was complaining it's just
Oh,
freezing.
it's blowing, and I can't even feel my fingers. But because I'm holding the phone, and I bought from a vendor some gloves.
I think it's a waste. I don't.
Nice. Get the gloves on.
Yeah, but yeah, we really had a fun time getting dressed up, thinking this was going to be real special. We got into a 3-wheel bicycle, and the guy was from New York. He didn't even know how the roads, and
Oh,
he's
boy.
from Serbia, and we felt like royalty coming down here. And then we saw the line. It was
Yeah.
awful. So that's a bike going around with playing YMCA, and there's all these military guys dressed in their best.
Nice. Nice. I think we're losing you, Denesa. I think we're losing you. They may cut off. What may be happening is that the closer that she gets into the arena, the more they may cut off. She's going to one of the presidential balls, and if she gets back on here, we'll find out and see if the president is, I believe, supposed to make an appearance at this ball that she was going to be at. And they may not even allow, they may be cutting off the service as you're walking in. I mean, she's going through the security check right now. So who knows what's going on? That's very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and pull her off the screen. If she comes back on, I can see her down in the bottom portion of my screen. So I'll bring her back up if that's the case. But yeah, I knew this was going to be the problem. And unless you had connection with somebody who was in one of the main events, that this was pretty much all you were going to get. Someone standing around outside giving you a review of what they're seeing. And it's funny, I've been watching Newsmax. I've been watching America's Real Voice. I even turned on Fox for a few, and that's the exact same thing their reporters are doing. They're standing outside somewhere reporting about people going into the building. So pretty much anyone could do that job. Denesa was doing just fine reporting on it herself. So unless you're one of those people who's very well connected, well, this is what you get. You get a lady in line at one of the big events in DC. And how exciting. What a great day. This is one of those days that I know people have been waiting for. I did the Friday night rant with Chris Brumbles and Marty said he was just going to stay in bed all weekend until today. I mean, that's how much he was waiting for today to happen. And I know a lot of people are thrilled. You watch the social medias, it's just exploding out there. I'm still interested in what was going on in the Senate last week as far as the confirmation hearings. I thought they were absolutely impressive. Basically, the Democrats were demonstrating who they are and what she is, what they're really made of. Marty's got a comment. He says, "Oh, here she is.
I'm
Hey,
sorry, we cut out. You saw me before? Hey, Daria's right here with
hey,
me.
Daria.
Hey, how you doing, Rob? Yeah,
Pretty good.
We are freezing our tushies off.
That's
But
an
you know what?
understatement.
We're here to experience this because there's a lot of work to get Trump elected, and it was a real blessing today. I cried every time those um, preachers and rabbis talked about healing our nation. We're only going to be able to do that not out of selfishness anymore, which I witnessed it within our own party here.
Yeah.
And we need to start healing this nation, and we're only going to do that for teaching what is right and wrong. And we have some justice. And today, I loved how he ad-libbed today, and just cut to the chase and didn't do a canned speech and just basically said off the cuff. And he just said, you know what? They destroyed evidence. They destroyed evidence.
Yeah.
And we're not allowed to do that. We're not.
No. No, we're not. But I want to get back to what you were talking about campaigning. You and I and Daria, we did a lot of work campaigning this year. I mean, we've been campaigning since, well, actually for a long time. Seems like a couple of years now, hasn't it?
Yes. Yep.
They're gonna go inside.
Yep. It's a lot of work. I would say I probably wouldn't do it. It was 13 degrees out, but we're blessed where we're at, and we did rallies together. We did Trump trains together. There was a lot of people that was in this movement, and we want a better life for our kids. So yes, I'm really tickled that we are taking some steps as a nation to heal, and I'm hoping Trump is safe and we can get this country back on track.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I love all the executive orders that he has already put out there. It was sad that Biden, on his way out, he pardoned his entire family. He pardoned Fauci, he pardoned Milley, and he pardoned not only just the January 6th committee members like Liz Cheney, but he also pardoned their staff, which begs the question, if you're being pardoned for a crime you haven't committed, what was that crime you're being pardoned for?
Yes.
Well, I thought you could only pardon people that have been convicted.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how that's going to be dealt with. All I can tell you is when I was in the Hilton with all these people from Texas, Georgia, Illinois, just all over the place, when every time Biden got into the helicopter, they were all waving goodbye.
Yeah.
Get out of here. You have done some major damage to our country. So
Yeah.
So we were pretty tickled to. It's really cool to find like-minded people, patriots they've all suffered for 4 years.
Yeah.
And we're still kind of suffering right now, but it's cool to see us come together. I mean, people are willing to sacrifice to do this right now. I'm not kidding. We can't feel our toes right now and our hands. So, but we still have a lot of work to do, especially in Oregon. And I feel really privileged to be here. I kind of made the decision to come here at the last minute.
Monica.
But this is history, and I wanted to be a part of it, and I wanted to share it with my friends back in Oregon. And this is, my face feels like it's going to fall off because I've been grinning and happy for all day long.
So when it does freeze, you'll be frozen in a smile, so it'll be okay.
I'll have a smile on my face. Yes.
That is too much. Okay, can you do me a favor, Denesa? Can you turn the screen towards the front of the line to show us how far you're away?
Oh, okay. I'm going to show you. Can you see that line?
Yeah.
Can you see? That line wraps around that building.
Oh, wow.
And we're not near the front. We're way back there.
Oh, man.
Yesterday, we got in a line at 9 in the morning, and we decided to give up at 3:47. that was, they were told us that line was over 2 miles of people in line waiting in the rain, sleet, and snow.
We were frozen and wet.
And
That's
we
dedication.
and we did not get to sit. We didn't. We had to be in line the whole time.
And this is
So-
the Liberty Ball that you're going in, right?
Yes, and then my friends here
We're going to the Commander-in-Chief
ball. Yes,
inaugural ball.
this is my friend from Florida. Her name's Monica.
And I'm cold.
Yes, they're cool. We met Monica at the January 6th in the hotel, and we've been friends ever since.
Oh, that is cool.
I've sent her Trump one. Yeah, I've sent her Trump one magnets, and she sent me Trump bracelets because she sold Trump merchandise
For the USA Trump store.
at the rallies that Trump had.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's really cool to network with people around the states that are they've all been battling,
Yeah.
and this is a win. This is a victory for us. Doesn't feel it right now. We're suffering right now. I can tell you that much. But
Well, that's okay.
I kind of feel like that lady, that Nancy Drew lady that comes in Washington D.C. and does the checks all the buildings and the stuff that's going around Washington D.C. But I can tell you, there's a ton of military presence here. There's Hummers at every intersection.
Right.
We had a drug sniffing dog that went by us here just a little bit ago. They pretty much cordon the area off at least 4 blocks away from any venue. Let's see, what else can I tell you? It's super cool to see. Being on the West Coast, especially Oregon, we don't have any military bases. It's cool to see all the medals and all the different military uniforms. It's really cool. We don't get to see that here. We don't get to see it that much.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of a little bit of a culture shock because, living here in Coos County, it's so small and we don't have those huge federal buildings and whatnot. I imagine it's quite a difference heading out to DC. I've never been there. You've been there several times, and it must be tough getting around out there.
Yeah. Okay. On our little jaunt yesterday, in line forever, we ran into this building on the way. That was the government accountability building. So we took a picture by it, Daria and I. And Daria says she wants to go to work there. It looks like a shell building. But
it did look like it was vacant, didn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was vacant.
It looked vacant, man.
Yeah.
Well, we have no accountability in our government, so they're not keeping anyone accountable. Why have the building? Why have a person in the building?
Well, I think they've been taking all that money and they've been spending it in Ukraine.
Yeah, in Ukraine or on the illegal immigrants, the invasion. Yeah, that's the nice thing. From what I understood, Trump has signed the executive order to establish a national emergency at the border, and there are troops now down there. It's pretty much over with on that end.
Well, it's pretty cool that they've already released Chinese Americans out of Chinese prisons recently, and also out of Hamas, out of Israel too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I think he's got a running start. He knows what he needs to get done, and so far he's kept his promise to us. We just need to, Derry made the comment, we might end up doing this podcast in the bathroom, and she says we can say something like, we're flushing the swamp out of Washington D.C.
I like it.
But we didn't do that. I'm
Oh
out here in
well.
line freezing my ass off. I think I would rather be in the bathroom flushing the toilet, actually.
I know. I'd much rather be in the bathroom getting warm.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
So,
I'm sorry you
anyway.
have to go through this, and I hope you make it in. Good luck, okay, Daria and Denesa. You all have a good luck out there.
We are walking, and I'm telling you, if we make it in, it's your determination. I can tell you that much. It
Good,
is.
good.
If you're in a gown with not many layers and your little elbows are exposed and your toes are frozen, you'd understand.
Yeah, you both were in
Anyway,
dresses, and I was like, wow, I can't believe you're wearing dresses. I mean, I know you want to look your best, but
Well, we didn't know we were going to be outside.
yeah, we didn't know we thought we were going to be delivered to the front door, but not stay in line.
right.
Anyway, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share what's going on, and you got the real thing this time. I'm going to tell you that this
Good
is
deal.
not an act. People are suffering right now.
Dress
Clothes are not warm.
I'm sorry, I'm getting so close to you, but I'm that's
People are so huddled together here.
That is
We don't
cool.
even know who we're rubbing against.
And nobody cares. Yeah, we're just too cold to question that. Yeah.
We don't. Yeah. So anyway, these are some of our friends here that are huddling to us. But look, see, I even have a Marine here behind me. He's got probably about 4 or
Nice.
5 medals on him.
It's always good to have a
And, here,
Marine around.
Yeah, I feel pretty safe.
We had a sailor guy too.
Yeah, there's sailors. There's every branch of the
Nice.
military's here.
Good deal.
So,
Good deal.
sorry,
Well,
sorry, I
thank you
couldn't give
for
you
the
more
time.
content.
I
Yeah.
That's all right. I'm
And-
going to let
and-
you go because you're kind of breaking up here, okay?
Yeah, and I haven't had anything to drink either, except one glass of champagne to toast the president into office. So it was
Cool.
awesome. So have a great
Nice.
show, and I am so happy, and I hope everyone in Oregon's happy that we're hopefully cleaning things up.
I hope so too. You all stay warm out there if you can, okay?
All right. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye, Denesa. Bye, everyone. All right. And I feel sorry for those ladies. The Liberty Ball. They're going to the Liberty Ball. And it sounds like it's going to be a good time. I think the president was going to make a stop off there. That would be really cool to go to an event. It's like going to a rock concert. It's rock concerts for old people. That's what we've got in politics now. You know, hey, did you check out the Stones? No, I went to see the Trump, man. The Trump was in town, man. Yeah, it was a great show, Trump. And so it's a rock concert for old people. But yeah, it ought to be quite interesting. The Liberty Ball there. I should have asked her who's going to be, the show there. They've got a couple of headliners. Gosh, I hope they get to see Kid Rock. I don't know what they're doing, but I hope they get to see Kid Rock. And this ought to be quite entertaining for them, but you got to sacrifice, I guess, to go to the big shows. It's kind of sad because we worked really hard to get that man elected. I mean, we worked really hard in the last election. It took every ounce of energy. We were, and we knew, and the sad part is in Oregon, we already knew we were going to lose, but yet we still wanted to get as many votes as we could. And I think it was like almost 60% of the people here in Coos County voted for the man. So, I guess we did all right there, I suppose. But it's a hard battle, and we've only just begun. It never stays the same. It always changes. And in Oregon tomorrow, the legislative session starts. So, it's not always a good thing. In politics, it's always a mixed bag. And right now we're celebrating on the federal level. Thank goodness Trump is in office. But yet tomorrow, as you know, and as I said, the legislative session starts. And I've been reviewing several of the bills that are coming out, and I'm going to be doing that throughout the legislative session. I'm going to try to get Bob Soden from the Oregon Citizens Lobby on here to talk about some of those bills. And maybe we're going to do a few broadcast or interviews from the war room up there in Salem. They've got a war room. I want to go through a couple of these comments real quick. Samantha Frost says, "Hi, Denesa. Sam, I'm sure she appreciates it. I'm sure she appreciates it quite a bit." Let's see. Says it's called tampering with evidence. You should come on to the Jural Assembly meeting tonight if it's just for a minute. I don't know if you were talking to me or if you're talking to Denesa. Send me the link. If I got time, I'll be there. Tonight I had a couple of things to do. If I get a few minutes to jump on, I can, but send me the link if you get a chance. Let's see. Christine says, I hope she gets in. I hope she gets in as well, Christine. It'd be very nice. She's freezing out there in her dress. Let's see. The fight is still on. Yes, the fight is still on. It's never going to end. That's the thing about politics. People get into politics and usually they'll get in because of an issue. And as soon as they get in, they think, oh, we're going to fight this issue and everything's going to be great. And so, and whether they win or lose, most of the time they'll fight the issue. And once the issue has been settled in politics, they'll go home. But the fact is that politics does not leave you alone. Politics is a continuing battle that you're always going to have to fight, that you're always going to have to be involved with. And now that government is so large, there's really not much you can do about it because they're involved with your life. They're in every aspect of our life. You know, your wallet, your kitchen, your bedroom, name your bathroom, name somewhere where they're not involved. And I love when people go, oh, well, let's not make this about politics. Well, how can you not make anything about politics when politics is in everything? I just don't get that. Christina says, hi, Daria. I'm sure Daria appreciates that. Samantha says, where's your jacket? Yeah, I know. They took pictures and they sent us the pictures of them before they went out. And they had these really short jackets on with these dresses. And all I can think is, wow, you know, I've never, you know, I was born in New York, but I didn't stay there very long. And I'm from the South. And it got cold in the South, but I imagine it gets really damn cold up in DC. And to have something on as skimpy as those dresses, well, what can I say? Denesa, Oregon Outlaw says, be safe, Denesa. I hope she is. I certainly hope she is. Samantha Frost says, I'm ecstatic and hopeful that Trump is going to get involved in Oregon and all the corruption here. I think Trump is live right now, though. Right. He might be. He might be on the air. He might be live. He might be doing something right now. The nice thing is, this is from Marty. The nice thing is about pardon is they can no longer use the Fifth Amendment to refuse to testify. If a pardon had been accepted, a recipient would not be able to plead the Fifth. Oh, that is true. I remember that. I forget who it was who got the pardon, and they told him, well, you're going to have to testify. And he didn't want to testify. And it's like, well, you got the pardon. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Marty. I didn't even put that comment on the screen. I'm sorry. Here it is. The nice thing about pardons, and you can read it yourself there on the screen. But yeah, if you get a pardon, you cannot take the Fifth under the law because, well, you can't incriminate yourself if you've already been pardoned. Yeah, very, very good point. Oregon Outlaw says, yes, he is live right now, Samantha. It would be nice to get our O and C lands back. And that's hopefully that's what Trump is going to be able to do for Oregon and all the states in the West. If you look at the states on the east side of the Mississippi, about less than 10% of their lands are owned by the federal government. I mean, in Tennessee, I think it's like 2%. In Texas, it's like 1%. But once you get west of the Mississippi, once you get out here and like Nevada, 81% of Nevada is owned by the federal government. That's not constitutionally legal. I'm not even sure how they get away with that stuff. New Mexico, I believe half of New Mexico is owned. I think it's like 60%, more than half of New Mexico is owned by the federal government. Arizona, once again, a huge swath of Arizona, of California, and of course, Oregon, 54%. That's 54% of Oregon. That's more than half for you in Powers. That's 54% of Oregon is owned by the federal government. Now, we have a housing crisis And one of the problems with the housing crisis is the land use issues that we have here in Oregon. And if we had more land available for building houses and other developments, well, then maybe that stuff wouldn't be so expensive. Of course, not here in Bandon, because the Bandon School Board just passed a huge tax for anyone who does new construction in Bandon. I don't know what they were thinking. Nobody in their right mind is going to build in the Bandon School District now. They're definitely going to try to find out somewhere else to go. But yeah, Bandon just did that, and this is a bad thing they did. Very bad thing. Samantha has a comment here. She says, I am submitting my response to the motion to dismiss my case for the contest of the election, and in that to contest the for the contest of the election. And in that, I point out that Dan and the county are obstructing my right to contest an election. Good luck with that. I don't know how that will come out, but good luck with that. Marty says if they don't testify, then they can be arrested for contempt. And that is true. You can be held in contempt if you don't testify. And so that's one of the things they're going to have to look at. I do have one video that I wanted to play here real quick, because this is the most important part of today. No matter what celebrations you're going to, even if you're watching Kid Rock and all the other concerts and all the other entertainment, this is the important part. This is what makes today the most important the event that's happened today. This is the most important part.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chief Justice Roberts to administer the presidential oath of office.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Yeah, there you go. That was the reason for today's celebration right there. And I know a lot of people were giving the president crap because for some reason he didn't put his hand on the Bible. I believe his wife was holding the Bible. I haven't heard the story or read up on it, but I just wouldn't make so much big of a deal about it. But I saw that on the on X. There were people who were upset because he didn't have his hand on the Bible when he took the oath. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good. Isn't an oath? Once you take an oath, isn't it pretty much good for a lifetime? I think that's the way the oath works. When you take the oath, and he took the oath the first time he was sworn in as president, he definitely put his hand on the Bible then. So yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good, folks. I've never actually taken any of these oaths because I've never served in office. I've never served in military. Yep, I'm a civilian, total civilian slacker out here, just causing trouble and creating a dismay for everyone, and that's just what I do. But yeah, he has taken the oath. He has taken it before, and I don't know why people get so upset about things like that. But let's see. Samantha says, honestly, I think a lot of people are about to go down for a lot of crimes, and you might be right. Then again, I've lived long enough to know that a lot of people in my lifetime have gotten away with a lot of crimes and have never paid for it. And I don't imagine that that's going to start happening now. I have great hope that people will be held accountable. But after watching what President Biden did today, And we don't even know if what he did was legal, because those pardons are post pardons, meaning that they're for things that haven't, for crimes that haven't even been committed yet. I'm not even sure if that's legal or not, and so do many of the legal experts out there. They're questioning that in itself, and if it is, if it's legal that the president can do that, first off, it's immoral and it's wrong. But secondly, it shouldn't be done. It shouldn't be allowed. No president, even this president, should not be allowed to grant blanket pardons. You should only be allowed to pardon people who've actually been convicted and sentenced for a crime. To me, that's the only reason you have a pardon, is if someone's been convicted and sentenced to a crime. Anything lesser than that, well, I think we're messing with the justice system and should not be allowed. But I don't know. I don't know. What do some of you think about that? I'd love to hear your opinions on that. Oregon Outlaw says, let's hope they put the blindfold back on Lady Liberty and we are all held to the same account. I hope so too, Oregon Outlaw. And I also hope that they take that cover off of her as well under the I think it was the Bush administration, Bush 2, W. Bush, good old W. Bush. I think that it was Ashcroft who actually covered up the Lady Liberty because her breasts were showing. I don't know. To me, that was the least offensive thing that they've done to poor dear Lady Liberty. And I think they should cover that off. I'm not offended by women's breasts. And it was an old classical statue that has been there for over 100 years. And then Ashcroft, because a lot of times conservatives are so prudish, they have to cover anything that, well, they consider indecency. And I thought it was ridiculous. But yeah, that poor Lady Liberty. Let's hope they put the blindfold on and take the covering off. That's the problem. I don't need her covered up. I need her to have the blindfold on so that we're all treated equally. That is so true. So true, Oregon Outlaw. Marty says, people that are constantly upset by anything Trump does are upset by something Trump did. Gasp. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Trump has just talked about windmills again. That is a good thing, and I actually got something on the windmills here. It's a Trump story. Oh, let's see if I can even find that now. Oh, I'm going to have to go down and do a little bit of digging here. Let's see if I can do that digging, because I did have a story on Trump and the wind turbines, and I think, yep, here we go. Let me share this. This is really good. Trump, and this just came out a couple of days ago. President Trump has promised to halt offshore wind turbines project once in office, and he's in office now. And hopefully one of those executive orders will be to get rid of these offshore wind turbines. Offshore wind turbines, you know, you can make the argument, if you want to make the argument, that that the ones on land are actually efficient. I would disagree with that. Totally argue against that as well. But anyone who's sitting there telling you that these offshore wind projects are a good idea, well, they're idiots. They're just plain and simple. They are idiots, and they haven't done their own research. They probably have listened to Greenpeace. Greenpeace is telling everybody that these wind turbines don't kill whales and that they're not bad for the sea life. What the hell happened to Greenpeace? What a bunch of sellouts, total sellouts. Not as if they weren't before, but seriously, now they're worse than ever before. But he has promised, and when I say he, President Trump has promised to stop these wind turbine projects. We see right through this deadly leftist hoax. Please join protest groups near you tomorrow to fight the terror turbines. Details and articles. So let's go through the details here. It says that offshore wind turbines waste taxpayer dollars. They do not work. They are horrible for the environment. Experts say that EMFs, electromagnetic fields they produce, are dangerous for human health, and they are hideous to look at. Yes, they are hideous. They're ugly. They're butt ugly. Yes, they are. The terror turbines, the climate scammers are trying to bring to America's shorelines, are a threat to national security and owned by foreign governments like Norway and Denmark. You know, that's one of the reasons that we said that David Brock Smith was made in China because the wind turbines that he supported, he originally supported these wind turbines. He created and crafted and sponsored and voted for the bill that helped bring in these wind turbines and set the roadmap for their constructions. It actually set a goal. This is David Brock Smith, the guy who claims to support Donald Trump. He used to support these wind turbines. He doesn't anymore. And we used to say that he was made in China because who does it help the most to destroy America's energy grid? Well, it helps China the most. And so when we put up that billboard that said that David Brock Smith was made in China, that was exactly right. And I was trying to explain that on the Lars Larson show, but I guess Lars didn't want to hear that. And he cut me off and didn't allow me to continue my explanation of why we had that sign up that says made in China. So, it's sad. But let me continue with this article and find out what they were talking about. The good news is President Donald Trump sees right through these deadly monstrosities. They are dangerous, Trump said. One of President Trump's campaign promises was to put a halt on offshore wind projects. President Trump tasked New Jersey Republican Representative Jeff Van Drew with writing an executive order to possibly halt wind energy projects. And of course, the leftists and rhino politicians are having meltdowns. The offshore wind scammers are some of their biggest donors and pocket liners after all. And by the way, David Brock Smith received $25,000 from a PAC that was funded by one of the wind turbine companies. Yeah, he received that back in May. You don't have to believe me. Go look at his record. It's right there on his record, 25 grand. So why do you think David Brock Smith got $25,000? David Brock Smith, who's a conservative Republican, got $25,000 from a wind turbine company. Yeah, that's because he supported them, folks. Don't you believe what that fat bastard is telling you? And we got to keep people like David Brock Smith, Republicans like David Brock Smith in check, because we're not going to forget this crap. We're not going to forget about it. Let's see if I can find oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, let's see if we can find her. And yes, Trump is right. Offshore wind turbines are driving the whales crazy. Whales and dolphins have been beaching themselves thanks to the frequencies and noises the turbines and their survey ships emit underwater. Furthermore, the turbines are a death trap for seabirds that circle above the seashore. Imagine children swimming and playing at the beach will encounter countless carcasses of dead seagulls washing up on shore. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? A nice visit to the beach to see the beached whales and dead seagulls. But I was trying to see if they had a mention of this event. And, okay, here it is. Join the movement by following us on social media at POCLINY. I don't know. That must be some Long Beach, New York, Long Beach. They're against the wind turbines. But the National Day of Action, January 18th at noon. Well, this is 18th. This is the 20th. So we're not going to be doing any protests that day, but it was a good idea. And so here we go. We've got the president who, once again, is not putting up with this bullshit. And for all of those out there who are still believers that David Brock Smith didn't really support the wind turbines, then maybe you can explain. Well, maybe you can explain this.
How enthusiastic I am about the possibility of moving forward, not only with this offshore wind opportunities and the investments that are coming from the federal governments under the Biden administration.
Under the Biden administration, all that money he was going to get. And when he found out that we were opposed to it, what did he do? Well, he changed his mind, started to be against the wind turbines, and then he lied, telling us that he never supported it. No, I didn't introduce that bill. Well, I did, but there were reasons. It was to fight against the wind turbines, even though it created a roadmap to bring them in. Such a genius, such a genius. Doesn't matter, because today we have a president who is truly going to work for the people and truly benefit us. Unlike a lot of the Republicans here in Oregon, we got a good Republican in office, and it's really too bad. In fact, I saw recently where Court Boyce was making a comment on the president's stopping the wind turbines, saying, "Oh well, we finally found out who the scammers were." Well, Court, you were part of the scammers because you were also in favor of these wind turbines. So that's two Republicans in our area that were originally supportive of the wind turbines. And Dick Anderson, you can ask him whether he supports it or not. And after 5 minutes of him explaining his position, I'm still not sure whether he supports it or not, but it wasn't a no, certainly wasn't a no. So we need to know that it's a no. And for Donald Trump, he is saying no to these damn wind turbines, which is a good thing. But like I said, there's a lot of, let's see, there's a lot of things going on. Here's another interesting one. President Trump has signed a flurry of executive actions and memos on day one on electric vehicles, inflation, immigration, and more. And this was actually from CBS News. Maybe lamestream media is actually going to start reporting the news. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that that's going to change and lamestream media is actually going to start reporting things the way they are? I doubt it. But hell, we got this story, so I'm willing to take a look at it and see where we go with it. But yeah, Trump signs a flurry of executive orders, and they were right on that. He has, and let's see what the article does. Does the article take it to a positive or a negative point? It says President-elect Donald Trump is signing roughly 200 executive actions. That's badass. To be quite honest with you, I'm one of those who believes these presidential executive actions are deteriorating the power of Congress and the judiciary. And so I'm one of those, I'd like to see these executive actions and the executive pardons limited. I'd like to see the scope of them being able to do these things limited. And people go, well, yeah, but Rob, President Trump is doing good things with his executive actions. And yes, he is doing good things with his executive actions. But guess what? As soon as the next dirtbag Democrat gets into office, they're going to do the opposite with their executive actions and eliminate all the executive actions that were passed by Trump, just like Biden did the first time after defeating Trump, or well, actually having the election stolen from Trump. And so I'm one of those who believes these executive actions have to be limited. But right now, since we have, and I say we, I should say when Trump now, he plans on doing good, as long as he has this authority, I guess we should use it while we can. But I think we need to stop having the executive branch acquiesce its authority to or actually have Congress acquiesce its authority to the executive branch. That's what's happening here with these executive orders. So right now, the president has both houses under the control of the Republicans. He has the Senate and he has the House. The legislative branch has no excuse for fixing these problems. But first, we'll see what the executive actions are and what they do. But let's see. He began by... let's see if I can get rid of this video. He began, and when I say he, Trump began by signing documents establishing cabinet and sub-cabinet appointments, acting leaders of departments and agencies, and a proclamation that flags are flown at full staff on Inauguration Day. Flags have been flying at half staff due to the death of President Jimmy Carter. Trump's plans include executive orders unleashing American energy, including actions to undo President Biden's electric vehicle mandate, thank goodness, declare national energy emergency, thank goodness, and encourage the evacuations of to encourage the excavation of America's natural resources. An incoming White House official told reporters Monday morning he has also plans to sign a presidential memorandum on inflation. He has plans to take action on getting wokeness out of the military and a direct and to direct the military to begin construction on an Iron Dome type missile defense for America. And we should. That was the Star Wars program that Ronald Reagan dreamed up years and years ago. And I remember they were making fun of Ronald Reagan because he came up with this Star Wars idea. And within, I don't know, it wasn't even like 10 years. And within 10 years, Israel had what Ronald Reagan was talking about. America didn't. Because, after Reagan, they had Bush. And then after Bush, we had, Bill Clinton, and he screwed up everything. And Bush screwed up everything just as bad. Both the Bushes were really bad, but we never did get that missile defense here in America, which was a great idea. They really shit all over Ronald Reagan when he brought that up. And now Israel has this. This is the Iron Dome that they call it in Israel that protects them every time Iran or Hamas or any other terrorist group shells Israel. They're able to protect themselves. Why isn't America able to do that? That's our technology there. That's our technology, and we should be using it. So hopefully he did put a military directive in his executive order to do such a thing. Let's see, I missed something here. He says he's expected to roll back diversity, equity, and inclusion. Thank God, the death of DEI. Let's see. Immigration and Border Executive Order. He plans to invoke presidential powers to begin a sweeping crackdown on immigration after the inauguration on Monday, tasking the military with border enforcement, designating cartels and gangs as terrorist groups, shutting down asylum and refugee admissions, and attempting to terminate birthright citizenship, which I think is a great idea. I think that's a great idea. And I think it's dangerous to have birthright citizenship because there are women who are waiting till almost to the point where they're giving birth. And then they're coming across the border, sometimes walking through Mexico to get to the American border just so they can have that baby, because they know as soon as they have that baby, that's the anchor baby. Not only does the baby get its citizenship, but all the family members, the immediate family, gets to come in with that child, which I never understood. Why can't we just give the child their citizenship and send them back with the parents to wherever the parents came from and not allow them to come here illegally? I don't get the law. The law is very strange, but it's certainly not protecting the rights of the people who were born here, who are citizens here. And I don't know if you ever watched Savannah Hernandez. Savannah Hernandez, she's Hispanic, she's American Indian, and she was talking. It was amazing, just like I am. It was great, her talking about how she's tired of watching all these immigrants come to this country because you don't have a right to be in this country. You don't have those of us who were born here, we were lucky enough to have the privilege of being born in this country, but it's not a right, because otherwise everyone else other than an American who's born in America had their rights violated. Well, that just isn't happening. That's just not the way that works. You have a right to all the same rights that every American does, but you don't have a right to be an American. That's a privilege you have to earn. He's also instructing President Trump to restart construction on the wall on the U.S. border, relaunching a massive multi-billion-dollar government project that he championed during his first term in office. That was halted by President Biden, so that will be taking under his wing as well, and that's good stuff. That is all good stuff, and hopefully we'll see more of that. That was quite entertaining. I did enjoy that. But here's another story. This is another one that came down, which is great. This is what should have been done during the Biden administration. But in fact, Biden was actually encouraging this. And that's the CBP One app, the one app that helps illegals come here illegally. Yes, we actually provide an app for that. Trump shuts down CBP One app use by illegal aliens to enter country, cancels remaining appointments. So all of you who had appointments, who are going to meet somebody here in America about your alleged illegal immigration, then you're not going to have that anymore. That app is gone. The app has come under scrutiny in the past from Republicans, with some stating it has been used to hide illegal immigration, which it does. And it has been used just for that purpose. Shortly after taking office, President Donald Trump ended the use of CBP, one app used by illegal immigrants to enter the U.S., and canceled all the remaining appointments made through the software, because you can make those appointments through software, which gives them the ability to be left here in America instead of being taken back to wherever they had come from. Effective January 20th, 2025, the functionalities of CBP, one that previously allowed undocumented aliens to submit advance information and schedule appointments at 8 Southwest border ports of entry, is no longer available, and existing appointments have been canceled. The Custom and Border Protection Agency website is now that's how it reads on that website. The CBP One app allows migrants to schedule asylum appointments, which most of them, they're really not leaving places that they're claiming they need asylum from. That's a bunch of BS. But the U.S. immigration officials, once they reach Mexico City or states in northern Mexico, so they're trying to reach these U.S. immigration officials in Mexico or in states in northern Mexico, so that they can set up these appointments so that they can come here to America illegally with the help of our government. That's all going to end. That's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. And yeah, but on the way out, of course, Biden, the dirtbag that he is, decided to put a pardon on his entire family, on Fauci, on Milley, and of course the January 6th panel. And any of you who saw this, once again, you got to ask the question: if you need a pardon for a crime you have not committed, what was the crime you're worried about being charged with? What are you worried about, Fauci? What are you worried about, Milley? I mean, if you haven't done anything wrong, then why would you need a pardon? Yeah. Potential revenge by Trump is what they're going to say. We don't want to have that revenge on us. Trump is going to come after us. I don't know why people have been coming after him for quite a long time. I'm going to give let's see. I'm going to give out URL for the watching audience. I think we're talking about that jury group. Samantha Frost says, "Thank you for that, Oregon outlaw." I don't know what she's talking about. Let's see. Samantha says he's talking live about the EOs right now. Oh, you were talking about president. Yes, he's signing EOs right now. Yay. He's signing that. So he obviously is he still live? Because if he's live, I'm surprised I have any viewers left on this program. But yeah, so this is what Biden did on his way out. Jimmy Carter, he died at the perfect time, because now that he's passed away, right just before President Trump gets in for a second term and Biden is now leaving, he died at the perfect time, because now his presidency is going to be seen not as the worst presidency in America. And I grew up during the Carter administration. I remember, my God, the country was in a shithole. Boy, the melees that we were suffering. And Jimmy Carter was just, and then, we just got after, that was following the Nixon nonsense, the Watergate bullshit. That was one of the reasons, even as a kid, I thought, well, I don't want to be a Republican. They seem like a bunch of damn thieves. And then you had people like Gerald Ford, who, once he became president, he pardoned Nixon. You pardon Nixon. He commits these crimes and you pardon him. Oh, we got to do it to heal the country. I'm not feeling very healed. I'm still pretty upset about that Nixon pardon. I'm still pretty upset with Ford about that. But then Jimmy Carter came in. And of course, Jimmy Carter, he was going to change our math to metrics. He was going to, bring the country together. And what did he do? Well, he can thank himself for the Iran-Contra affair, not the Iran-Contra, the Iranian hostage situation that went on. That happened under Carter. Yeah, that happened under him. Remember that? every night. That's when that show Nightline came on. And I think it was Dan Rather, or Dan Rather not. I don't know. Dan Rather used to do the Nightline show. And that's when they started that every night they did a show late night talking about the hostages. And that became a show afterwards after the hostages left. But that new show was created during that time. But Carter administration just sucked. It just sucked balls. And let me tell you, when we were able to get Ronald Reagan in and change the presidency around, boy, the first term of Reagan was just impressive. How the country felt like, well, we were able to achieve again, and we get that same feeling now. It's almost like we're getting that same feeling now. Let's see. Marty says Vindman was not pardoned. Teehee. Yeah, that is kind of nice. I wonder why Vindman was not pardoned. I wonder why. Very interesting question. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what the reason was behind that? But I didn't have much really more to talk about except for this was, well, oh, I lost my sharing. Let me go back. I got one more thing to share that this happened. And I thought it was funny. This was just absolutely funny. They will make something up about everything. This was my favorite. There are people out there who are accusing Elon Musk of doing one of those straight arm Hitler salutes. You remember the straight arm Hitler salutes? You've all seen those. You've seen those. Yeah, so Elon Musk came out on stage. Let me see if I can scroll down to the picture here. There he is. It kind of does look like a Hitler salute, but I'm sure everyone at some point in their life has made that, has done that. I mean, it's just a natural movement. You're going to wave, and sometimes, oh, it looks like a Hitler salute. I was accused of doing that at one of the commissioners' meetings, which I thought was, well, absolutely ridiculous. There's no way I'd be given a Hitler salute at any meeting. And I'm sure Elon is not doing that here. But of course, people have to come out and make something of nothing all the time. And that was just something he did. Ted Koppel was Nightline. You're right. It was Ted Koppel. I don't know why I was thinking Dan Rather. I don't know why I was thinking that. It was Ted Koppel, Ted Koppelhead. Yep. Ted Koppel. He was the guy who did that. And, what can I say? Boy, I think, let me see. I think, well, this is Court Boyce just put out something here. I was trying to read it. I wonder if I should share it with you guys. It says, yes, America can return to normal. Our citizens are rejecting the craziness of the progressive left. Well, yeah, Court, he sent out an email. I thought I'd see that. I thought he might be, sometimes he catches the show. He used to always listen to my radio show. And if I'm criticizing him, I'm sure he's piping up. So I think this is just an email he sent out to everyone talking about the crazy leftist in the going to be now in check because of President Trump. But the thing is, in Oregon, they're not in check. And I wish we had some real good Republicans who would walk out if they need to walk out. But I doubt the Republicans who are in office today in Salem have the balls to walk out because they know they'll be fined and they know they'll lose that position if they're out and have unexcused absences for up to 10 days. They can't rerun for that office. And you know what I say? I don't care. I don't vote for people to become career politicians, and I don't put people in office who are not going to fight for my rights. And if the only way these Republicans can stop the leftist agenda is by walking the hell out of the legislature, then they need to do that. They need to do that in both houses. And if there's a consequence to that, they need to suffer the consequence. Like I said, I don't vote for any of these people for a career. And if you thought I was voting for you for a career, you're wrong. I can live without my representatives. Who are my representatives? Court Boyce and David Brock Smith. Yeah, I can live without them. We can find two people. I could find two people. I could go to a Republican meeting where there are 100 people here in the county. I could throw a dart, just throw it up in the air, and that dart could come down, and whoever that dart hits would be a better representative than Court Boyce or David Brock Smith. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm really ticked off that in Oregon, we don't have Republicans with balls. What do you think Donald Trump would do in Salem? If Donald Trump was in Salem and he was with all these damn Democrats who outnumbered him, and he didn't have a majority. In fact, he had a super minority. And he was there with all those other Republicans. What do you think Trump do? Do you think Trump would say, let's just leave? Let's just leave. Do you think Trump would sit there and take that crap from the Democrats in the Oregon legislature? Do you think Trump would take that? Or do you think Trump would say, I'm out of here? So what if it cost me a career? You know, if you're in the House, well, then run it for the Senate the next time. I don't know what to tell you. But once again, I don't put you there in office to keep you there for a career. I put you there to defend my rights. And the Democrats are coming after our rights. On the last several shows, I've shown you the bills that have been introduced by the Democrats. They want to take away our gun rights. They want to impose more taxes on us. They want us to pay reparations. Yep, people who never owned slaves, they want for them to pay people who never were slaves reparations for slavery. That's how crazy these people are. So what do you think Donald Trump would do if Donald Trump was in Salem right now and he had to deal with those Democrats? I'm willing to bet he'd say, screw it, I'm out of here. I'm willing to bet he would walk and wouldn't give a damn about his political career. I don't know. I can't really say because that's a really tough position. That's a tough position for anyone to be in. But I know what I would do. And I talked to other people who would do that. Chris Castleman. Well, I've talked to both of them about this very issue. Well, what do? Well, you just leave. Why bother giving them a quorum? But it doesn't matter if one person of the Republican Party leaves. All of the Republicans have to leave, all of them. And yet you and I know that we have a bunch of spineless, ballless, brainless Republicans in Salem right now. Not all of them. We still got a few Yonkers pretty good. Robinson is excellent. Thatcher is excellent. Diane Linthicum, I think she's going to be an excellent representative. I don't know. We haven't really had a chance to see because she hasn't voted on anything. But I think she's going to be a good one. But all the rest of them, they need to grow a backbone. All of them need to unite together as Republicans and leave Salem. Just leave. And yes, you'd be doing what I want you to do because that's just the way it is. Nicole just came in. Nicole Taylor just said, I like you here on Facebook Live. You know, Nicole, I didn't do it for a while because they kept really messing with me with my content. And so now that Mark Zuckerberg has been to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the Dawn's ring, I now go on Facebook because I feel a little bit safer to go on Facebook. But I don't know. I'm still, as soon as they give me a complaint, I'm off there again. But yeah, I like being on Facebook too. It sure is convenient. But yeah, they don't like when I talk. They really don't. Samantha Frost says, or they could nullify any law that is repugnant to the Constitution. Yeah. Damn, could you imagine that? The Republicans could nullify laws that are repugnant to the Constitution. You know, that would be, you know how we have Doge being ran by Vivek Ramaswamy. I always mess up his name. And of course, by Elon Musk. They're doing Doge. They should do something not for just the budget, but for all the laws that have been enacted over the last 200 years. How many of them are really constitutional? And let's start with the ONC lands. Where in the Constitution does it say the federal government should be owning these lands? Where? Anyone want to show me? I'd love to see it. I haven't found that yet, but that would be one of the things I'd be looking at. Yeah, any gun restrictions that the federal government has, any of those would go. They should go bye-bye. Those are unconstitutional. We got a lot of those, a lot of regulations, as far as I'm concerned, are unconstitutional. Yeah, I like that, Samantha. They should do that. Nicole says it's easy for access. Yeah, Facebook is easy for access. And I can see people's comments from Facebook. YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, I can see comments. Twitter, I'm lucky to get two people on Twitter. I don't know what it is with my Twitter account, but I think it's because I don't get to promote the show. It just comes on live. But the ones on Facebook I can advertise for, so I get a little bit better action on there. Rumble is still the best place to go, but you can't make comments on Rumble. And you can, I just can't see them. So that's one thing. Oregon Outlaw and Ron Paul is part of the Doge. Yeah, that was cool. Ron Paul, part of the Doge. That's the best thing of this. James Smith says, give back the Elliott State Forest. Damn right. But that's not the federal government. The Elliott Forest is owned by the state. Actually, the state needs to give it back to the counties. See, Elliott Forest is in Douglas County and in Coos County, and I think the state should give it back respectively to both counties as a working forest, meaning that it's there for recreation purposes, it's there for conservation purposes, and it's there for logging. All of that can be done there very easily. Thank you, James. It's good to see you. Oh, and by the way, I'll have you know, James is my father-in-law. I just want you to know, James, we're coming along quite well on that house that the kids are going to be moving into. My son and my daughter-in-law are going to be moving back with my granddaughter, and we've been working on a house that they'll be renting from us. And, it's because it's our grandkid, we've been really detailing the hell out of that house. Any flaw that was on that house, we've been really fixing it up. And so I just have you know, James, we've been doing a heck of a job, and I'm very excited. 9 more days, and my kid is out of Portland. I can't wait. I don't know if you have kids in Portland or kids in any big city. It's scary. It's especially scary. My son is 25. I wasn't too worried about him in Portland because he's a man. He's a grown man. I'm not too worried. But when you're talking about a granddaughter, 2-3-year-old granddaughter in Portland, yeah, I'm all for getting her the hell out of there. So yeah, we've taken care of that. Says we originally got that from the feds, the state of Washington and the state of Oregon for logging timber constantly during World War II. I'm not sure if that's the case. I'll have to go look that up. I have one of the foremost experts on the Elliott Forest come on the show once in a while, and I got to get him back here. Dr. Bob Zybach, really great guy. And I thought the Elliott Forest was created by the state as a way to fund the Common School Fund. I'm not sure. I'll have to go. I think as I understood it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to go back to the history. But thank you for your comments. I want to thank all of you for joining me. Tomorrow, there's a commissioners meeting in Coos County. Tomorrow, 9:30 over at the Owen Building. I highly recommend it. That means Coos Bay is probably having a city council meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the City Hall building. I would recommend that you go check it out. And of course, I have to mention my sponsors. If you haven't seen this video, this is I love this video. And this is their commercial. This is if you do something cool, you've got the coolest commercials. And I love this commercials from 3H Tree Service. Check this out. All right. That was 3H Tree Service. 3H Tree Service. If you got any trees that are giving you a problem in your yard, I would call 3H Tree Service. They can remove them with surgical precision. Matt Holman and the guys do a hell of a job of taking those trees out, and they'll leave your area very well cleaned. You won't even know they were there. Great guys to work with. And, they can come in, and you got to go check out their videos on Facebook. Go to 3H Tree Service on Facebook, and they've got some incredible videos, not just of them way up in the trees, topping those trees down, but them removing the branches over houses, yards, and cars. When you watch those videos, it's freaking amazing how good these guys are. They are really good at their job. 3H Tree Service. I couldn't recommend them anymore. They're a great group of people. And if you get a chance, you need to give them a holler. Let's see if I got it here. The number. Boy, I got a lot of stuff in my file here. Yeah, 3H Tree Service. You can give them a call at 541-294-1800. 3H Tree Service can take care of all of your tree needs. You got some tree needs, they can take care of it. And I forgot to call Tim over at Tom and Gigs, but Tim from Tom and Gigs, he can take care of all your automotive needs, and they're over in the Empire neighborhood. I recommend them highly. They're at 135 South Shonen, behind the car wash. If you know where the Empire neighborhood is, you know where the car wash is. Those guys are at 135 South Shonen, and you can call them at 541-888-4660. You know, I should have had him on the show today. I forgot to send him a link. He was hiring somebody new. I walked in on a job interview when I was there. It was just this past week. And after the job interview, he came out and I got to talk to him for a little while. But he was trying to replace a really good mechanic, and it's hard to find good mechanics in Coos County, people who are really qualified for doing this job. And he's got a lot of good people who work for him. It's really tough on him when he runs an automotive center and one of his guys, leaves, because he's got to replace him with someone of just as good a quality. And if not, he's got to do the job. And that's what he's been doing. He's been busting his ass doing the job. But if you need any automotive needs, go see Tim over at Tom and Gigs, 135 South Shonen. Herbal Choices for all your herbal needs. You got any herbal needs? Well, Herbal Choices is the place to go, the #1 dispensary in the county. And in fact, they got a store in Reedsport, right there on Highway 101. They've got an Herbal Choices. They got one in North Bend, Coos Bay, and south of Bandon. There is an Herbal Choices. Very well lit stores, nice parking lots, very informative bud tenders. These guys can take very good care of you. Herbal Choices for all your herbal needs. And of course, my favorite gun group, Oregon Firearms Federation. We had Chris Brumbles on. He's one of their guys. He was on this past Friday talking about the Second Amendment and some of the laws that the legislature is going to be pushing on us. A lot of bad laws, and you know who's going to have to fight them? Oregon Firearms Federation. If you think that the legislature, that the Republicans in the legislature, after they allow these bills to be passed, because they're not leaving, they're not going to walk out, because they're going to protect their political careers. They're not going to walk out. They're going to protect their careers. And those bad gun bills are more than likely going to pass. Do you think those same Republicans who allow those bills to pass, you think they're going to pay and raise money to hire the attorneys to fight the laws that they allowed to pass out of the legislature? Do you think those Republicans are going to do that? Hell no. But they're going to be doing a lot of fundraising. Yeah, these Republicans, Court Boyce and them, they're going to be doing a lot of fundraising. Dick Anderson, a lot of fundraising. And you ask them, why should we give you any money when you allow these bad gun bills to come out of the legislature? You can ask them that once the legislative session is over, because I can guarantee you there's going to be at least one or two bad gun bills passed the legislature this year. And you know who's going to have to fight them? Oregon Firearms Federation, because the Republicans in the office are, after they let these bills pass, they're not going to fight against these bills. They're going to let those bills stand, and the only ones who are going to be able to defend us is us. And of course, Oregon Firearms Federation. They're going to be there because they've been there since 1998 defending our Second Amendment rights. And that's why they're the only no compromise gun group in Oregon. I highly recommend you go to OregonFirearms.org and you sign up for their newsletter and find out what's going on, because Kevin is the man who knows. He has been fighting for our Second Amendment rights for a long time, and he needs our support, because the Republicans aren't going to be there for us. Not in this state. Not in it. You can cheer on Trump all you want, but Trump can't save Oregon, because Oregonians have to save ourselves. It's up to us to save ourselves. Trump can't save us. We got to do it ourselves. And God knows what we're going to have to do that. Who knows? Who knows where it's going to go? But thank goodness we have Oregon Firearms Federation. They're defending us. Find out more at OregonFirearms.org. They're not my sponsor, but I like to recommend them. If you're in Bandon and you want to become a member of a really cool gun club, Bandon Gun Club, find out more, bandongunclub.org. And Tioga Sports Park at tiogasportspark.org. They're right next to the dump right there on Highway 101. Yep. Right there on Highway 101. If you want to find out more, go to tiogasportspark.org. And they're not my sponsors. They really don't make any money, I guess. They watch criminals. That's a good thing. People watching criminals. I'm gonna try to get Doug Washington, aka Rob from Base and Tackle. We're gonna try to get Rob from Base and Tackle, Doug Washington, on the show. I guess he had an incident last night where he had to stop a couple people stealing bikes. We had a video. I asked him to come on and explain the video, but he has a meeting right now and he couldn't come on. But he's going to come on in next week to talk about the incident from last night. It shows him he's out there with a baseball, but that's what it looks like to me. Once again, I didn't get to talk to him, but it looks like a big old baseball bat. And boy, he is really worked up. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with Rob from Base and Tackle. He's one big boy. He's a big Texas guy. You don't want to mess with those Texas boys. They can fight. And if he's got a Louisville slugger in his hand, let me tell you, you do not want to be on the receiving end of a Louisville slugger, not especially if it's being swung by a Texas boy. You don't want to be on the receiving end. So I pity these damn fools who think they're going to mess around in Doug Washington's neighborhood. So hopefully we'll get him on next week. But if you want, go to Facebook. This is a Facebook group, Coos County Neighborhood Watch. I love that logo. That's a really great logo. A great lady who made that. You can find out more on Coos County Neighborhood Watch. You can find out about the feral humans who are wandering the streets of Empire neighborhood and Coos County. We don't have too many here in Bandon. Why? Because we're a bunch of latte sippers. We got a bunch of liberals out here, and we'll talk about feeding the poor, and we'll talk about housing the homeless, but we don't do that really here in Bandon. No, we move them along. That's why we don't have too many. We don't have too many homeless. We don't have a Devereaux Center, handing out all that stuff. No, we like to keep that in the Empire neighborhood. That's how the liberals in Bandon work. Yeah, we like to give to the Devereaux Center in the Empire neighborhoods so that you guys can enjoy all those homeless. And we here in Bandon don't have to have that, because we're a bunch of liberal latte sippers. And because we're sipping our lattes, we don't want to have homeless wandering around pooping on our porches. No, you don't want those homeless pooping on our porches here in Bandon. We're spoiled. We're pampered, privileged people here in Bandon. So that's why we give, that's why you'll find out that there's people in Bandon. They won't give to any charity here to feed the homeless, but they'll give it to the people in Empire neighborhood. They don't mind it in other people's neighborhoods. No. So that's right. I'm starting a rift between Bandon and the Empire neighborhood. That's what I'm doing. I'm starting a rift. starting it. Yep, you saw it. It started right here. And you can find out more about this riff because I'm going to continue this riff because, boy, we got it. Like, Bandon is one of the safest cities in Oregon. And yet Coos Bay is one of the most dangerous because of the Empire neighborhood. Well, we're only, 28 miles apart? Strange how that happens. I don't even think we're 28 miles. I think we're 22 miles apart. We're not even that far apart. And yet one of the most dangerous cities is pretty much right next to one of the most safest cities in Oregon, here in Bandon, because we're a bunch of latte sippers. We only talk about doing good. We don't actually do good. I mean, we're a bunch of Democrats here in Bandon. We're a bunch of liberals. No. We're a bunch of fart sniffers here in Bandon. That's right. We like smelling our own farts because, well, we're just too good for everyone else. And so, we'll send those poor peasants to your neighborhood in Empire. No, we're Bandon. We're better than you. We're better people. We're going to send them to the Empire neighborhood. Let your Tara Johnsons deal with the homeless. No, not our hands. Our hands will not get dirtied. We will not be filthied with these poor people. No, we will send them to your neighborhood in Empire. Yes, that's what we do here in Bandon. We send them to your neighborhood in Empire, and we let you deal with it. Yes, that's what we do because we're better than you. We're better than you. Yep. Sorry to say it. I got a couple of comments while making those comments. Let's see. Marty says, you're streaming on X. Just figured that one out now. Oh, yeah, I am, but no one watches it. It's weird. Oregon Outlaw 99-0. Rubio has been appointed to Secretary of State. Hallelujah. Thank you for that one, Oregon Outlaw. Nicole says, not lattes, Nettie's coffee. Yes, they are drinking. No, the real good people drink Nettie's coffee. That's what they're doing. I'm only talking about the latte liberals, the liberal latte sippers. That's who I was talking about. But I want to thank you all for joining me. It's been a blast. I want to thank Denesa for giving us an update. She's out there freezing to death in Washington, D.C. And if anyone deserves to be in Washington, D.C., Denesa worked her ass off. I don't know if you knew this, but she knocked on, she drove us around and we helped knock on. I think there was a couple of thousand doors we knocked on. It was crazy. And of course we were campaigning for Todd Vaughn, but we were promoting Donald Trump. Everywhere we went, we let them know we're Donald Trump supporters. And if you could, think about voting for this guy, Todd Vaughn. And that was a good time. We did a lot of work. We did a lot of Trump trains. We took a Trump train from Coos Bay all the way down to Brookings. It was badass. We're badass here. That's what we do. So I want to thank you all for joining me. It's been a hell of a time. I hope you join me Friday coming up. Maybe I can get Base and Tackle Rob, in other words, Doug Washington. Maybe I can get him on the Friday night rant. That would be interesting because he looked like he was going off on these homeless people who were trying to steal those bikes. And I shouldn't call them homeless. They were criminals. These street criminals who were out there stealing. He took care of them. Thank goodness for people like Rob from Base and Tackle. And don't be a cuck. Defend your neighborhoods. That's right. You're the only ones who can do it. So do it. Defend your neighborhoods. And until next time, you know what I always say, folks? Carry on, Coos County. Carry on.